Hi everybody and welcome to Just Saying. It is February 24th, 2014. I'm Kim and I'm joined here as I am every week by my lovely ladylike partner in crime, Mary. Hi Mary.
I'm ladylike. Hi Kim, how are you?
Oh, it's been a day.
Yeah, I can tell. I think Mondays, you know what? Mondays is a good night to start the week out with everybody, but it's kind of like, I guess, a bad day for all of us because, you know, we're busy doing things, but it's a great way to start the week out doing a show together.
Always.
Yeah. So, did you bring anything good home tonight?
I did. I brought home...
Should we wait, though?
No, I think we can do this separate from the other thing.
Okay, all right. So, what do you got good from Metaluna Boutique and Stone?
I brought home 2 of the Martha Hazard Decker approved hemline easy lift shirts.
Okay. So this is almost like Good Housekeeping seal of approval?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are these tops all about?
Well, the first one is a lovely long sleeve t-shirt type, but it's not really a t-shirt. It's really cool. And of course,
kind of glitzy there in the front.
And of course, my camera froze. So let me try this. No. See if that works. I'm a circle. I'm a little circle.
I can see you.
I know you can. There it is. See?
There you go. That's great.
Love connects haters. It's got the eye of bra. It's long in the back and short in the front, so you can lift the hem.
So that is a Martha Hazard Decker shirt, correct?
These are the easy hem lift shirts, so
Gotcha.
They should be approved by Martha.
Okay, all right. What else you got?
And the second one is kind of a double advertisement, even though our third partner in crime is not here. This is a Robin Marie original.
Oh, that would definitely look great on Martha.
Yes, it
Definitely.
would. And again, it has the easy lift hem.
Okay, all right. So I'm taking it that she likes the easy lift hem type tops.
She does.
Okay. Well, that's great. So we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. We got the approval there, and we also got some free advertising on your network for your store.
Of course, the first one may be a little too blingy for Martha, but the second one I could definitely see her in.
Oh, no, I could see her putting on a little bling. I don't have anything exciting to report, so my week was kind of boring.
You do, too. You can actually see some of your grass.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, my goodness. I should have sent Eric a picture. For the first time in almost 2 months, I saw some of my front lawn. It was incredible. And I took pictures of it. I actually went out and walked on it to make sure it just wasn't in my imagination. However, it'll be covered over tomorrow night. We're supposed to get more bad weather, another snowstorm. But at least I got proof that I do have a lawn and it does exist.
Yes, so see, that is exciting. After as much snow as you guys have gotten, that is absolutely exciting.
Well, you know, since the excitement is too much on my lawn and those Martha-approved tops that you brought home, I do believe we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to introduce our guest for the evening.
Absolutely. Martha,
So
I hope...
Your cable goes out, you get stressed. When you get stressed, you need to get away. When you need to get away, you go for something exotic. When you go for something exotic, you get bitten by something exotic. When you get bitten by something exotic, things swell up. When things swell up, you can't go home. And when you can't go home, you become a local fisherman they call Big Fatty Face. Don't become a local fisherman they call Big Fatty Face. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Your cable goes out.
Welcome back.
Yeah, really. It's unusual that we do commercials right in the beginning. Actually, they're more towards the end. But I'm not sure whether or not our guest was able to hear and see that commercial, since we didn't hear anything.
I know she could hear it, but I'm not sure she's in the room to see it.
Okay. Well, anyway, that little promo commercial thingy there, it kind of goes, it's a segue into our guest for this evening. Tonight, we have the founder of East Texas Paranormal. She's also an author, and she's also a retired police officer. And Kim and I was lucky enough to meet her back in November, and Kim gets to see her a lot more than I do, obviously. And tonight we are welcome, I can't talk tonight.
Well, I'd also like to mention she is also a speaker at a lot of the events.
Yes, but we'll talk about that during the show. Anyway, tonight we'd like to welcome Martha Hazard-Decker. Hey, Martha.
I am going to have to lift that shirt.
Really now? So did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Have you seen that commercial?
Yes, I have. That's why I called myself a fatty face. Gonna get you.
Oh, we figured you'd go, hey, don't blame us. I was minding my own business on that one.
You
right.
For our
Martha.
Our viewers, I just want you to know we weren't being mean and calling her a fatty face. Martha got this ailment a week and a half ago, and her face blew up, and she called herself fatty face.
Thank you.
And Martha, just from the producer's end, I was forced to play that.
It was his idea.
I
never
believe
even
you.
saw that commercial, right? I mean, I didn't even have a full cup of coffee in me when they said, hey, check this out. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I was bad. I gave the evil laugh when I saw it.
You didn't spit out your coffee?
No, but
her mouth was empty.
Close to it.
Well, at least you didn't turn into the sprinkler.
Well, that almost came before the spinning out. But no, when they sent me that, I said, we got to do it. And I will, in Eric's defense, he said, are you sure you want to do that? Well, Kim and I looked at each other, and I mean, I couldn't even talk. I said that was appropriate, so we had to bring it in. So everybody, we're not mean-spirited. We just know that Martha could take that one tonight. So
no, and we
yeah, right.
And we do love.
We could have been mean, and we could have lifted some of those pictures you posted on Facebook where you look like.
And we do love Martha.
Just remember, Kim and Eric, I know where you are.
Yeah, she's closer to you guys.
Yeah, she knows where I am, but getting her to show up is a whole nother thing. See, she laughs, she knows.
So, what happened to you?
I got a fatty face.
Well, I mean, you posted some pictures the other day that you just about looked normal, but that when you...
Well, geez, thanks. I was normal then.
That picture, what was it, like a week or two ago?
Is that like asking, are you pregnant? What?
I'm like, oh my God, what happened to her? I don't remember her looking like that. It was reaching everything. But that's a pretty good, that's fairly accurate what you look like in that commercial.
Thank you.
Martha?
It was called a saliva gland infection, and you don't want one.
No, I don't think I'd want one of those.
No, she had to hold a rag on her face, squish her face, and eat sour candies for a week.
And pickles, almost 2 weeks.
Which, that's for
No
bad.
caffeine. No
What
caffeine.
do they say causes that? I mean, is
It just happened. I'll open up my mouth and bite down on my first bite of lunch, and that did it.
Martha, she lives in Norristown, Pennsylvania, if you're looking for her, because she's being worse than I am.
I'm behaving, and Martha knows I'm a lady.
Sorry.
I can see where this show's going to be headed. I might as well just take all my serious notes and rip them off and just, sit back.
Actually, Actually, the saliva gland infection or saliva stones are common in older people.
Oh, God. Well, you're retired.
And those
So I'm that old.
No. I'm retired from one kind of job, and I'm working another one.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're severely dehydrated, and I drink a lot of water, so go figure. And I'm not old either.
Yeah,
I don't
Mary.
care what you say.
You mean to tell me my face could have blown out during the summertime?
You could have been a fatty
I
face.
dehydrated back in July and ended up in the hospital for 2 days.
Yes. And if you can't get it, the blow up to go away, they have to put you in the hospital and do surgery on you.
Okay, I don't care about porta potties in the future. I will keep drinking.
See there,
That's
Mary?
right.
You could have been
So-
the fatty face.
Yeah, I could have been a fatty face. I mean, you guys could have been making fun of me.
That would be fun.
But I'm going to see if I can go from this to serious.
Too
All
late.
So, I read your bio a little bit, and you said in the bio, or somebody said, there's a bio out there about you that said that you've had experiences since you were quite young. What kind of things did you experience?
Paranormal.
Oh,
Sorry.
you know what? To our viewers out there, I'm putting a disclaimer. I may be changing just a little bit different on how I do interviews on this show. This is going to be bad. It's going to be a long hour. I can feel it, Kim. She needs warning labels.
Well, clap for Martha because she's playing.
Oh yeah, Martha definitely gets kudos for this one.
Well, you got me on that one. I'll give it to you.
You know, talking to you is kind of like the IRS. Just answer the question and don't say anything extra.
Well, you know what? I can play that game too. Experiences.
Yeah. I've had a few.
Oh, Lord. How do we bring this interview back to making some sense?
With or without the hem, Martha?
What?
With or without the hem? You said you've had a few experiences.
Yes.
With or without the hem?
Oh. Which him?
Yeah, really.
Him or him? With oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you said him.
No.
With that East Texas accent. Him.
Ham. Hey, I'm from St. Louis.
I'm
But you
Philadelphia.
live there now. Actually, I've had experiences since I was off and on since I was probably about 3 or 4 years old, and I can't explain what they were, paranormal or what, but they were experiences. Everything from seeing things, hearing things, feeling things, as far back as I can remember.
Well,
Odd things.
did you go to anybody and say, "Hey, I saw this," or did you just keep it to yourself?
No, I kept it to myself, and in high school, though, I had a good friend named Mary. Imagine that. And,
I'll have to pull her aside. Okay,
and, we both had some odd experiences, but there was one, well, there's been several. There was one when I was in high school. The house that we lived in backed up to woods. I don't know how many acres, but 80 acres or so, say. And it was all trees. I looked out my window one night, and what I saw was woods, but behind our house, a field, with tall grasses and things. And this is really weird. And there's a trail coming through from the woods, through the field that I can see. And here, I've never forgotten this. Here come all these people marching out of the woods, carrying torches, like they would have done, early 1900s, late 1800s or so, and dressed in that kind of time period. They came marching out like they were walking with a purpose. They were going somewhere and they weren't happy. And they're coming out of the woods, going through the field, and that path curved and came right into our backyard. And
Yeah,
I see
right.
them turn about the time they're about to hit the backyard, my head is under the sheets going.
Oh yeah,
"Ah!"
definitely.
I don't, you know, and I had, I've had, the earliest one I can remember was a hand that I saw, like a shadow, big shadow hand in my window, middle of the night, and that I felt before I saw it. I felt something there, like somebody was staring at me, and I just woke up, middle of the night, everybody's asleep, and I get that feeling here on the back of your neck, and I turn, and I'm 3 or 4 years old, and I see this giant hand. To me, it was giant at that time, and of course I screamed. It went away. My folks came in. You're having a bad dream, and it wasn't a dream. I was wide awake because I laid there looking in a different direction for a while. I have no idea how long before I turned. That was my first experience with I don't know what.
Yeah, that would be enough to scare me. But I want to get back to these people that you saw like marching. The area that you grew up in, I'm assuming it was Texas, yes?
No, that was in Memphis, Tennessee, down the street from Elvis.
Ooh, okay. What time period do you think it might have been?
Like 1800s, early 1900s, probably more in the 1800s from what I remember with the dress. And, because they would have had lanterns in the 1900s, probably,
Right.
1900s. If this was like, it was like free lanterns when everybody used to use torches at night to walk around.
Right.
I
Go
get the whole visual of like that Frankenstein's monster when the whole town's going
Yeah.
after them.
Yeah, that's what I got when I saw it too, and they started heading my way.
Well, they
I'm going to hide under my sheets and they're not going to get me. Yeah, I do the
Exactly.
same thing. I've done it.
Yeah,
Well,
I did that.
now-
Yeah.
Now that you're all into the paranormal, you've got the group and everything like that. Did you ever do any research?
No, I haven't had time to try to go research that. And but I've been involved in it for a long time. My interest, evolved, and I've always had an interest as far back as I can remember. And when I was in high school, trying to figure out, what do I want to do, where do I want to go to college, and all this kind of stuff. There was the one university, and I don't remember which one, that had the parapsychology specialty. There was only one, and I wanted to do that, or be an archaeologist. I couldn't decide, or a couple other things. Kind of all over the place, like today.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that your true passion won out, and then you've been able to pursue it stronger to the point where you started the team. But I want to back up a little bit more. You went to college. I mean, you got out of high school. You went to college.
No, I didn't go to college because I was stubborn. I do have some college, but I didn't have any at that time. I was stubborn. My mother wouldn't send me where I wanted to go, so I just said, and went straight into photography as a profession.
Okay. I just got interrupted by the producer's wife. They're being bad over there, so I have to kind of get myself back, into the... See, I'm trying to be serious, and you guys are being bad.
I was being good. I did not say that.
Oh, you typed it. Anyway.
Did she look for him?
No.
It's not
Doing
ratings
a lot of
week.
things over there. Anyway, you went on to become a police officer. You got into law enforcement. And do you think that... how many years were you involved in law enforcement?
About 16.
Okay. You were in there long enough to...
16, 17, something around there.
Well, my son's a police officer, and I think you and I spoke about this when we met back in November.
Right.
During your, I don't know if you call it rounds or, while you're driving around, during your time as a police officer, your shift, that's it, I couldn't get shipped out. Did you experience anything going through certain areas? Like up here we have Valley Forge Park, and my son patrols that. And I know that he has seen some things because he's mentioned it, but he won't talk about it.
Well, I don't know if I ever saw anything or not. I used to, of course, it's a rural area, and often back when I was doing patrol and it would hit 10:30 at night, a lot of times I would drive through the neighborhoods dark. In other words, no headlights, because you can see a lot more out there and in between the houses and around the houses and open spaces with just that little bit of light, a lot more than if you're driving with your headlights on. You roll your car, you roll your windows down, you turn your lights off, you block the light inside the car the best you can, and who knows what I saw. I used to go to the cemetery and sit and park a lot in the back of the cemetery because I could see the highway and I could see the water department, and they sometimes had troubles with thieves at the water department. And there was supposed to be a man that would walk down the street from the cemetery. I never saw him, but this story with them is a fascinating story that I may one day put into a book. Based on actual fact out here. And,
well, you're going to give us a little bit of a hint on the
I'll give you an itty bit maybe.
Okay.
It involves the hanging of a family, all the men in the family. Back in the late 1800s, some hogs were stolen. A constable went into an area and he was killed. And a large group of people went in because the sheriff wouldn't go in. And they were pretty much turned out to sort of be a lynch mob. There's two versions of the story, but the one is they hung all the men except for the youngest one in the family. This is the whole family, but not just one house, but brothers and uncles and the whole deal. And they were going to hang them to scare them, and somehow they accidentally were hung even though they were hogtied. And another story is that they hogtied their legs because the rope was too long, and it was intentional from the beginning. So you have two versions of the story. And there's a few members of the families that are still out here in this area. I talked to some in the past who have since passed on about the story. A Texas Ranger, came down and worked it, and it involves that. It involves shooting at a sub courthouse where a couple of them turned on a couple of the group of men that went in and hung those men. Two turned state's evidence. Then another group of them went into the sub courthouse when they were going to go testify or do something, and shot and killed them there. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff that goes on with this one.
Sounds like it. I think you should include it.
Well, and the hogs that were stolen came from a merchant who came from New England and opened up a mercantile in Kemp, which is my mailing address. I live out in the county, but it's near me. And then he decided he wanted to move into this area that's probably about 15 miles from there. So.
You guys have a lot of cool things out there. Everybody says we have some cool stuff here, but last week we had Selena and Jody on, and they were talking about some of the haunts out there. And I'm like, dang, I wish I lived closer.
Jody Breckenridge from Jefferson, Martha.
That's what I figured.
Well, down here, half the people I know are named Jody. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, in fact, I'll see Jody in April.
And I will see you there in April because we're at the same one.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Maybe I'll get sick. No.
Look, fatty face.
Hey, do we need to take another break? For those late comers, we really should take another break. That was fun. I must have watched that. I don't know how many times today. And I said to Eric, send it. I had him send it to me on Skype. I said, I need to watch it a few times so that when it comes on tonight, I won't be laughing. That didn't work.
Yeah, no.
Right.
But no,
You're very lucky I was able to keep my mouth shut.
no, technically we have not seen each other, Martha, since November when you met Mary.
Right.
So see, don't be acting like, you know, you're all up my business.
Hey. I know where you live.
Come and get me,
And if
baby.
I don't,
And she works.
and if I don't know the house, I can find out. I have friends.
I have friends too, and they work in this same county, and probably you worked with them on the same department, honey.
Okay, let me break this up now. Come on, ladies. All right, so you retire, I believe, in 2007. Is that correct? From the police?
Correct.
Okay. And then you went on to start Paranormal Team. You're the founder of East Texas Paranormal.
Correct.
What made you decide to start a formal group?
Because I wanted to.
My answer would have been because you couldn't get into another group. They don't have with you? Wow.
No, I wanted to. I was retired from the police department. I didn't have to have defense attorneys try to bring anything like that up in court on criminal cases and try to discredit me.
True. Yeah,
although I have to admit, I rarely had to go to court on any of my cases. They usually pled and didn't go to trial.
That's because they were afraid of you.
That's right. That's what I heard.
Yeah, we heard rumors about that.
No, I just did a good job of investigating seriously. Although my name in law enforcement was Mad Dog.
Yep.
But
That's a good one. So how much?
you have to blame my chief.
Yeah. Before we get into your book, how much of your law enforcement background do you think you can credit with being such a good paranormal investigator as you are?
Probably most of it, because I was was an investigator when I was there. I was the assistant chief and I was the investigator. And that probably started about 95 when I became sergeant first. And I started focusing on a lot of the felony investigations. And I went through lots of training, several thousand hours and on doing things like that. So it probably has contributed the bulk. But I was also a journalist for a while, and during the time as a journalist, I learned to be nosy then and ask a lot of questions. And then I've been in the position I'm in now for 6.5 years, and I continue as an investigator, but civilly. So I'm doing, I've been doing the same thing since the mid '80s.
Yeah,
So
I would have to agree. I think with the background that you have, it takes things. These guys are killing me tonight. I'm sorry, Martha. Eric's in the background holding up shirts, and I'm trying. I can't type and talk at the same time. So imagine I'm trying to talk and think. It's not working.
Is he gonna wear one and lift his hem?
He
Well, I
is
think he should,
lifting
yeah.
his hem. He's done it twice now.
Yeah, but no, we don't see them. So let's move forward a little bit into your book, and then we can backtrack, because at least the book, I think I can get focused on that one. Eric can walk by and lift up whatever he wants.
Better watch what you ask for.
I know, who knows what he's going to do. Anyway, you decided to write a book about paranormal investigating, but I from what I've seen of it, it's not out yet. You did send me a chapter to read, and also the outline of what your book is about. It's almost like a guide for the paranormal investigator. From
It is, and
chapter.
yeah. It is. The whole thing is about not the actual investigation, but the interview techniques to, things to look for when you do an interview, things to ask. Of the profiling is in there because you kind of learn to look for what the person does and how they act, their demeanor. When you're, these are for, doing private investigations with your group. And it could work at somebody that you have a lot of people that want to buy locations too and try to cash in on this place is haunted and want people, to come in and do investigations at a cost. Then you also have a lot of individuals that want to be on the whole myriad of paranormal shows that are on TV, like When Ghosts Attack, My Ghost Story, and on and on and on. And so their idea would be to get a team in to try to say that their place is haunted to help them with their cause. So when you're going, so there's just a lot of stuff to kind of help you get an unbiased, accurate reading of things.
Right. I'd like actually the first paragraph of chapter 1. I'd like to read a little bit from that, and then I'll explain why.
Just remember what you have is the rough draft. It's not even
I understand that.
The one I have right now. Okay.
So, and everybody's listening to that, so they'll understand. But you open it up with, do you have any medical issues? Do you have any mental problems? Do you drink or do drugs? Sounds like booking questions at a local jail or doctor's office, right? No, these are some of the questions asked by some paranormal investigators while conducting interviews of potential clients. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is when I first started in the field, I worked with Mark Sarro. You don't know him, but hopefully in the future you'll get to meet him. I became part of his team, and I was his case manager. And he had developed guidelines of questions to ask. And some of the things that you put in there is exactly what we had to ask. And I don't think people understand how important it is to establish exactly the type of person that you're going to be going to see. First of all, we used to start out with phone interviews. I don't know if your team does phone interviews, but I was in charge of the initial contact of the potential client, and predicated on my assessment with all of the questions that I had. And it sounds like you pretty much have the same questions that I would have asked. It determined whether or not we were going to go forward and then go to the house. Again, never alone. You always went one or two more people you took with you. And there were times that I said to Mark, no, we're not going near this person's house. And the one time that he did not pay attention, he brought somebody else, and they feared for their life when they got there because the person, she was on drugs and she had mental issues. And I was able to pick up on that, but the case sounded so intriguing, they went anyway. So it's important that you follow some type of guidelines, if nothing else, for safety.
A good example of that was this weekend. A group of us got together, and it involved 3 different paranormal groups. And that was one of the things we were discussing. Was a guy who has called a bunch of teams in Texas to try to get them to come to his place. And he has severe mental problems. There's nothing paranormal, but he has mental problems. And if it was a male, he didn't want them to come. If he was looking for females to come to his place, he's in and out of mental hospitals. He lived with his parents and wants you to come to interview him when the parents aren't there because they wouldn't approve of it, even though he's an adult. And I talked to him. I had another one of our members talk to him, and she, to just kind of confirm my thoughts on this. And because one of our policies with somebody, when we talk, they sound like they have mental problems. One of the things that we require is that they get a mental, evaluation, because we don't want to make anything worse for them. But he could have been dangerous. That's why you should never go into an interview alone, at a location with somebody, because you're going into their environment and you have no idea who they are in reality until, even when you go see them the first time, you don't really know. And, we told them, we couldn't help him. And we did it nicely, but, we listened to him and we did it nicely because we, the biggest thing was we cannot come to your house without the permission of the owners of the house. We have to talk to your parents. They have to give us permission. We don't sneak in. And, that was the end of that.
Yeah. I think we were actually contacted by that guy too, because I had posted something on Facebook about other teams, and I was told that this guy's basically gone through the entire gamut, and that there are real issues there, and to stay away.
Yeah, he was not safe to be around.
Yeah, and I've always said safety's first before anything. And so, good
it is, and actually, and it also helps kind of communicate with different, groups in your state. Or in your, even as big, Kim way up in East Texas, and this guy is actually down by Houston. And, and so he's contacting people all over. And hopefully nobody falls for it and goes there. You have a lot of the new inexperienced groups, younger groups, that just want an investigation. Sometimes they're not necessarily worried about the person. They just want to go do an investigation.
Exactly.
And they may not, or it's another group that whatever the person tells them, they go in with a bias that they believe that person, instead of going into it unbiased with no opinions until they go through all the things you go through before making a decision.
Right. I remember when that first movie, Paranormal Activity, I think that's what it was called, came out. We were getting inundated with calls. Everybody had paranormal activity in their house.
Mm-hmm.
And it just got to be overwhelming with the calls. And I remember, I work full time, I come home and I was on the phone for hours every night going through all of these calls we were getting. So, it's important, especially how you have your book laid out, that you do have it's almost like check marks of things, what you should ask, how you should react, because although the thrill of the hunt, and I don't really usually like to use that term, but, we're all researchers for starters, but we also like to have that evidence too and experience things. But you don't want to waste an entire team's time because, and Kim knows, Kim and Eric knows, in order to set up an investigation, you need your team, or the majority of it, and that could take weeks and weeks before everybody has an agreeable time, along with the prospective place that you're going to. And to go and as soon as you walk in, you realize, oh my God, what a waste. That's a lot of time coming from people. So, it's good that you wrote something that helps, I'm going to say the younger investigator, the not in age, but the newer ones starting out, because they're, like you said, some people just want to go out and do an investigation without doing the background to it.
Well, and some people don't, I think I'm wired a little bit different than your normal, your normal person, as y'all should know. So we look at things a lot differently. We think about things that could happen, or, that your normal person may not think about, just because we've been, I've been in law enforcement. A good part of my group is either has been or is in law enforcement right now too. So we just think that way. and trying to send that. I've had people say that, why do you ask people about their criminal history, or why do you ask them about drugs? And that isn't all that information personal, and it is personal. That's why it's important to confidential between you and your client and not spread it all over. Because they are giving you very personal information, and you've got to have that trust and that rapport with them if you're going to do a good, thorough investigation. Because there's all kinds of information that if you don't have it, you may miss out on what you're looking for in that investigation.
Yeah, I think that I understand, that it's personal information, but your personal being is going into their house, and you want to make sure everything is as it needs to be before you even attempt a personal case.
Might not even hurt in Texas or other places. Do you have weapons in here?
Right?
Just so you're aware.
Too funny.
Oh, no, I know. And most of them have carried concealed licenses, too, so.
Sure. I don't find a problem with that, of course.
Well, of course not. It's Texas.
That's right.
Oh, jeez. And I'm over here wanting to come back out for another visit.
Hey, you had a good time.
You will be protected.
See?
You will be protected, Mary.
So I have a different type of question.
Uh-oh.
How long did it take before a certain person realized she had absolutely nothing on the back of her skirt?
Huh?
Oh, come on.
Remember after the Marshall event, we all went out to eat and someone had something on the back of her skirt?
Vaguely.
You couldn't see it until you got outside in the dark parking lot to see the stain on the back of the skirt?
I kind of remember.
Oh, jeez.
Too much has happened between now and then. I do kind of remember that.
I was trying to be funny. See that? I went from straight place to being funny. So listen.
I know, and I can't remember.
And we can't even type it to her.
No!
Oh, Lordy. Okay, so here you are. You're out there. You're investigating like crazy. What is the most memorable paranormal experience that you've had so far?
Meeting us.
Well, that's,
Well, I don't know if that was paranormal or not.
Well, it could be.
It could be.
Now you see us, well, you know. Now,
well, that's kind of my line.
Out in the field, you're doing your investigation, and one thing in particular has stuck out since you've been doing it. What is that?
Well,
you can give us a couple if there's so many. Crickets.
Dead air.
Well, let me see. Okay. There's one that ended up being not paranormal, but we talked to the woman. If the children are involved, we move a little faster. And when I talked to her in depth on the phone, and then we talked to her in depth in person, because we'll do the phone interview, and then we'll go do an interview in person, and we'll, record it, audio and video. And she happened to live in my area, so it was easier. But Tammy and I did this, Tamara Stewart Bricky, part of the group, because it was such a small apartment. It was in government housing. It was in a very, very bad part of town. It was very dangerous over there, or could be. For leaving our cars out, and when I talked to her, she sounded absolutely hysterical. When we get there, she's not what we envisioned at all. But while I'm talking to her, nothing bad has happened, and then I'm trying to calm her and tell her, we'll make arrangements to come interview you. And everything that I tried to do, nothing has happened to you. Oh, I got bruises, or I got a scratch. You haven't seen? Oh, I saw this creature running through the hall. She was saying all this, and of course, one of the first questions we asked too is, do you watch paranormal shows? Because I find that those who watch a lot of the paranormal shows, if something happens at their place, that's the first place they go with it. Mm-hmm. Is paranormal. And she had spoon dancing, standing up and dancing. She had this little creature crawling in the hall. Her daughter was 11, was sleeping with her because the light in her room would blow out all the time. There was some high EMF in her room because the electric panel was in her room in one closet, and the mother's older TV, was up against the wall in the other closet. So when the TV was on, there was a lot of that in there. This is a older apartment complex. It's been around for a while. It's not in the best shape. The light in the daughter's bedroom was actually hanging from the ceiling. The wire, it was just a bare bulb, and the wire was hanging out of the ceiling. So I tried to explain to her that she's probably putting too high of a wattage bulb in there, and it blows out. They had the maintenance come in 27 times, and every time he comes in, every time they put one in, it blows out. Well, this is old. This is, the wiring's probably not the best. When we went to see her, she showed us a paper where she had sent off for something somewhere, and this guy sends this paper, and it says, do this, put this oil on this, say this, write this, write what your intention is or something on this paper, put it in a box, sleep with it under your pillow, and send it to me the very next morning as soon as you get up with $29.95, and I'll say a prayer and I'll be fixed. And I told her, don't do that. I don't know where you found that. And but the night that she put it under her pillow, she claims that their Bibles were on the floor and torn and ripped in the morning when they got up. Well, Tammy was the deputy, and for several years. So we're in there and we look at the Bibles, and you can tell, if you really look at them, you could tell that a live person had taken and ripped pages out, and you could see the intentions from the fingerprints, from the fingers, from trying to pull and out a group of pages at once. In fact, I sent you a picture of the Bible. That's what that is. I had another guy come in before we went for the investigation, or two guys came in, told them not to have us come in. They went around and did stuff, told them it was for free, got into her bedroom, told her to undress, and they would, cleanse her, and that they would have had her daughter undress if she had been 12, but since she was 11, they wouldn't do that, and then they demanded money. I tried to get information because I wanted to turn them in, because she was probably lucky her daughter was there, or she may have ended up being sexually assaulted. So you really have to be careful and do your due diligence if you need someone to come in, if you think you have problems too, as the client, and make sure that you're bringing a safe person in. That was one of our interesting cases. And,
I think we've all hit one of those. But go ahead.
Yeah, and we have another one. We've been to a hospital farther up in East Texas several times, and every time we go there, we get very, very interesting EVPs it's one of the more active places that I've been. We go in there. Everybody has personal experiences. We pick up EVPs there. It's just been EVPs. Of course, you have stuff with your EMF with hits and spikes, and hopefully we'll be able to do more in the future at that place. We did some stuff recently for the city of Grand Saline, their building, because they've had some activity in their building. So that one stands out because a city contacted us and asked us to come investigate several of city-owned buildings.
Not the salt building. Was it the salt building?
No. They own the Darby building, which they want to turn into a salt museum. Their library, which was a train depot. Then they had a train car that we went in, and we went in three different times, and when we went into the basement of the Darby building, on a separate investigation from doing the Darby building. And the train, we had nothing when we did the train and the library because it was pouring down rain, thunder, lightning, and the trains were rolling about every 15 minutes, it seemed like, and the depot is actually about maybe 5 feet from the track.
Right.
So between all that, we just really didn't pick up anything that night. I mean, we do a thing where we put about 4 to 6 flashlights out, and they're the flashlights that you have to push to turn off and on.
Right.
They're not the twist kind, and we'll do ask questions with those, and those were fairly active. But we don't ever we use several different kind of flashlights, but all of them you have to push a button to turn them on or flip a switch. You can't, it's not, we don't ever use the ones where you twist twist them so that they're just barely off. So we did have some experience with that. And we had, we heard sounds when we were up in the Darby building, and we're going to do more with that in the future, and probably possibly do some other buildings in Grand Saline along the way too.
See, she is so close, and yet she never comes by. Oh.
Well, when we get our place built near you, if we ever do, up in Gilmer, that'll be really close.
Yeah, and I hear, we went to Gilmer this weekend. Just stop by. No, we were out of time. But anyway, Martha has a few assigned events this year so far that I've noticed.
Yes.
You want to talk about them?
25 cents worth of time. Go ahead. Tell us about them.
Okay, well, she faded out. All I saw was a mouth moving.
Like that should shock you?
We have Jody Brecken with her History, Haunts, and Legends in Jefferson in April. You got the date, I can't remember the date, the 12th.
April 12th.
And then in Tyler, George Jones, not the singer, but George Jones from Texas, Tyler, Texas, is putting on his paranormal conference at the convention center in Tyler. This is his second year for that, and that's on the 20th or the 24th. And that one will have has 3 or 4 of us actually from my team. I'll be there. Terry Jones will be there. She's a paranormal author. Maria Elena Santos will be there. She's a medium and a Reiki healer. Then of course Dr. Rita Louise will be there. So yeah, there's 4 of us that are going to be speaking at that event. And there's some other people there that you don't normally see at other conferences, which makes it interesting. Not that the others aren't, because they are too. But it's a chance to see some new people.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they all have new people, but you know what I mean.
Besides your events, I promised I would get this out there for you. You are a photographer.
Yes.
Yes, but don't let her alter your pictures because she does things weird.
I don't know how to alter them, really.
You told me you altered that one.
Well, usually my forte is editorial type photography, nature, landscapes, not making them weird, but my granddaughter can do that with no problem for me.
No, actually, Martha is an excellent photographer. I just got to give
I'm going to hit her website, and I do want to let everybody know that if you're interested in Martha's photography work, it's marthadeckerphotography.com. Very easy to remember, so make sure you check her out. Now, your book, when's your book due out? Do we have a date yet?
We don't have a date yet. Now that I have a new, switch with this new publisher, I'm not sure. They don't expect it to be too long. They'll have the final draft within the next 2 weeks. I've got a 14-day deadline, and they're not really anticipating it taking a really long time. So I'd say anywhere from hopefully within the next 2 months. I'd like it to be out sooner, but we'll see. And it's Martha Hazard with 2 Z's.
Yep.
Not 1 Z, 2 Z's.
Well, your photography, is it Martha Decker photography?
Yes.
That has,
Yeah.
okay.
No, the photography is just Martha Decker photography. And I've taken, and most of the pictures on there, of course, you see they're landscapes, they're cemeteries, they're places that I've been that maybe have paranormal activity, but I really like to do the old abandoned historic places. I've got a lot more photos to add to that eventually, but that's where they can go and, purchase photos if they want. And I can do events and do group packages and special things for, special events as well, where they can log in and pick out different things they want.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go there. I'll do it while I'm at work tomorrow.
That's when she does.
No, you have my interest because, there's something about taking pictures of like abandoned places. They kind of, I don't know, they talk to you. So
they do.
Yeah. I always, my thing is bridges. I got a thing about bridges and fireplaces. I don't know why, but whenever I go anywhere, I've got to take pictures of those things.
Well, two of the places that are in there on my photography will be the Bartlett House and the Kaufman County Poor Farm. And both of them, if somebody wanted to investigate, I haven't had any real investigations there. I go into both a lot. I'm on the Kaufman County Historical Commission, and the county owns the Poor Farm, and the Garden Club in Malakoff owns the Bartlett House, and there's quite a history with it, but they just need to contact me if they're interested in doing any investigations, because it'll help raise funds for both the properties, because they're both of them trying to store. The Poor Farm actually is a federally endangered historical site right now.
That's the one I want in. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun, 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 dun.
Well, anyway, looking at the time, we are out of time for this evening, but really, really glad we got to talk to you. Well, Kim and I got to talk to you tonight. There's a whole different side of you that I didn't know about, and that's the photography. That's pretty cool. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do so?
They can call me at 903-340-7405. They can find me on Facebook as the group East Texas Paranormal, or as author Martha Decker, or under Martha Hazard Decker, and the abouts have the phone number, or go to our website, which you this is the website that you posted, or go to our etxhaunted.com for the group, etxhaunted.com, and that has a phone number on it as well, plus all the different email addresses.
Awesome.
Or I'm also on Twitter as Mardek.
Mardik. That was, I kept seeing that name in the chat room a while back. I'm like, who's that? And then I figured out it was you.
Yeah, Martha Decker.
That's right. See, I'm getting there. I'm smart. My mama didn't raise no dummy. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I was serious about that invite. You get on the East Coast, let me know. Any of the things I do, you're more than welcome to join in with me. So
you never know. I might just do that one day.
Cool.
You'd have fun doing that, Martha. I've been up there a couple times.
I know I would.
Yeah, we always have a good time when we get together. So.
And there's cheesecake.
Yeah, lots of cheesecake.
Oh, that sounds good.
See?
All right. Well, thank you. We're gonna be ending our show. Kim, you got anything cool to add?
I want to thank Martha. We give her a hard time, but she knows we love her.
I want to thank you for having me.
And
Yes,
her photography really is some really gorgeous stuff. I love her Angel of Sorrow. I give her a little bit of trouble because she altered a picture of me personally. But that was just Martha being Martha. But she does do great work.
I'm sure she does. I'm telling you, we're going to check her out. I'm going to go check her
I
out.
started out when I was 18 years old.
There you
So
go.
last week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Try 1972.
That was 3.
Oh, shut up.
No, you can't be a day older than 35.
Yes. Yes.
This way she goes through a picture of me. I don't want her to mess it up. I want to be nice.
She doesn't realize we're trying to suck up now after what we did to her in the beginning of the shows.
That's okay. I never get mad. I just get even.
I know.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, well, we're going to say goodnight. Stay tuned. 10 o'clock tonight we have...
Arwen.
Yeah.
You never know with Arwen. And Arwen
That's right, you never know.
is always fun. And with that, we're gonna get out of here so Mary can do what Mary does on Mondays after the show.
Shh.
I didn't
All right,
say
we'll
what.
see you back here next week. Good night, everybody.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Just Saying. It is February 24th, 2014. I'm Kim, and I'm joined here, as I am every week, by my lovely, ladylike partner in crime, Mary. Hi, Mary.
I'm ladylike. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Oh, it's been a day.
Yeah, I can tell. I think Mondays, you know what? Mondays is a good night to start the week out with everybody, but it's kind of like, I guess, a bad day for all of us because, you know, we're busy doing things, but it's a great way to start the week out doing a show together.
Always.
Yeah. So, did you bring anything good home tonight?
I did. I brought home...
Should we wait, though?
No, I think we can do this separate from the other thing.
Okay, all right. So, what do you got good from Metaluna Boutique and Stone?
I brought home 2 of the Martha Hazard Decker approved hemline easy lift shirts.
Okay. So this is almost like Good Housekeeping seal of approval.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are these tops all about?
Well, the first one is a lovely long sleeve t-shirt type, but it's not really t-shirt. It's really cool. And of course,
kind of glitzy there in the front.
And of course, my camera froze. So let me try this. Don't. See if that works. I'm a circle. I'm a little circle.
I can see you.
I know you can. There it is.
There you go. That's
Because
pretty.
love connects haters. It's got the eye of Ra. It's long in the back and short in the front, so you can lift the hem.
So that is a Martha Hazard Decker shirt, correct?
These are the easy hem lift shirts, so
Gotcha.
they should be approved by Martha.
Okay. All right. What
And
else you got?
And the second one is kind of a double advertisement, even though our third partner in crime is not here. This is a Robin Marie original.
Oh, that would definitely look great on Martha.
Yes, it
Definitely.
would. And again, it has the easy lift hem.
Okay. All right. So I'm taking it that she likes the easy lift hem type tops.
She does.
Okay. Well, that's great. So we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. We got the approval there, and we also got some free advertising on your network for your store.
Of course, the first one may be a little too blingy for Martha, but the second one I could definitely see her in.
Oh, no, I could see her putting on a little bling. I don't have anything exciting to report, so my week was kind of
You
boring.
do too. You
I
can
do.
actually see some of your grass.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, my goodness. I should have sent Eric a picture. For the first time in almost 2 months, I saw some of my front lawn. It was incredible. And I took pictures of it. I actually went out and walked on it to make sure it just wasn't in my imagination. However, it'll be covered over tomorrow night. We're supposed to get more bad weather, another snowstorm. But at least I got proof that I do have a lawn and it does exist.
Yes, so see, that is exciting. After
Yeah.
as much snow as you guys have gotten, that is absolutely exciting.
Well, you know, since the excitement is too much on my lawn and those Martha-approved tops that you brought home, I do believe we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to introduce our guest for the evening.
Absolutely. Martha,
So
I hope.
stay
Your
tuned.
cable goes out, you get stressed. When you get stressed, you need to get away. When you need to get away, you go for something exotic. When you go for something exotic, you get bitten by something exotic. When you get bitten by something exotic, things swell up. When things swell up, you can't go home. And when you can't go home, you become a local fisherman they call